So this label that we have here, I would like to have it in font white. And if I shrink it, it might squeeze as well. So I would like to put it at font 5. Okay. So that said, I can now shrink my bar chart to fit into the section I have prepared for it. Okay, so this is the first bar chart. I don't want to bother. Okay, now I need to compare for 2022. I need to create another bar chart for 2022. To do that, all I need to do is go back to my sheet 1. Same thing I did here. I'll go to the sum. I'll go to the sum. I want to highlight this row. I'll hold down my control key and highlight sum of 2022. Control C. And then I'll come down here, maybe use this space here and Control V. And then I can now insert my bar chart. I'm using the 2D bar. And then I move my chart to sheet 2. Okay. Okay. So I'll bring it all the way up. I want, as usual, my chart section, the background, no fill. Oops. No fill. And my text, I want it to be white, font 6. White with font 6. And then my axis, I will want it to start from 1000. Okay, this grid line, I don't need it. So I'm making it transparent. And then my data bar, I'm going to reduce the gap width. I can't remember the figure I used for the previous chart, but yep. I'll just pick what looks good. This is not bad. I think I should make it 35. See, not bad. Okay. What else? The highest bar, the most production. I want to give it a unique color of light blue. And also, I want the data label to show what I want it to show on the inside end. And I want that label to be in font white, in font color white, and font size 5. And I'm going to be calling this 2022 food production indices. And I want this to be white and in font 8 bold. Okay. No border. No border. I'm shrinking this to fit into the section. I think my border is still showing. I don't think I chose the right no border. Okay. Great. So if you can see, the longer bars, there's significant difference between the food production in the year 2019 and the food production in the year 2022. Even though Kenya had the highest, as comparing with these 6 countries. So it means that our title is simply comparing the impact of COVID-19 on food production in this for 2019, 2022. So it means I will title my section in that manner. I will say impact of COVID-19 to food production indices as compared to 2022. Okay. If all the text is not fitting into the text box, no problem. Remember, I usually use a smaller font, 8. I'll set it at the middle, and it's going to be white. It's going to be bold. I think I might make it font 9. If you can't see the text, no problem. That is because we also need to take up the shape fill and the shape outline. Great. So our second session is ready. The third session we are going to have is the session that is going to sit our pie chart. Wow. It's a session that is going to sit our pie chart. And what we are going to be using for our pie chart is the information we have here. For time's sake, I'm not going to use all 4 pie charts. I will just use 2019 and 2022. Okay, so I'll just highlight these 2 values, go to insert and select okay, it's not giving me what I want. Just do this, go to insert, pie chart. I want to make use of the donut charts, okay, just like we have there. I'm going to title this percentage contribution 2019. Before I move it, so I don't skip. I'm going to move the chart to sheet 2 and click on OK. And then we have our chart here. But first, I did not create the section that is going to sit my pie chart. So I'll just quickly do that by going to Insert, Illustration, Shapes, Rounded Rectangle, Rounded Corner Rectangle. Then I'm drawing, I'll draw this out and make sure it doesn't have a fill. Okay, so this corner is going to sit 2 pie charts. Okay, now how do we format our pie chart? First of all, like we already know, no fill, but it still doesn't look good enough. Border, no border line, still doesn't look good enough. I need to take off this legend. But before I take off the legend, I need to know, I need to label my data because I need to know the highest percentage contribution. Okay, and I've discovered it is this guy right here with 99%, Kenya with 99%. So for this particular person, for this particular pie, I'm going to make it have, where are you? I'm going to make it have a category name. Okay, so every other category name, I don't need it. It's insignificant, as what I'm trying to achieve is simply displaying the pie with the highest percentage contribution. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do is vary color by slice. I would like to use, no, that's not our chart color. this, yes. But this one with the highest percentage contribution, I want to draw it out. I want to single it out and give it our unique color, which is the light blue. And that's not all. I also want our pies to not have all that white background, white color. I'm going to set the transparency to, yeah, something like that. Great. And this guy right here, it's going to maintain a white font 6. At this point, I have no business with Legend anymore. And this guy right here is going to be a white font 8. I could make it bold if I want. Now I can shrink my pie chart to fit into the designated area. So great. Another thing, I could also decide to angle the slice a bit so it's not totally facing down. Okay, so one pie chart down, one more pie chart to go. The next pie chart I want to be displaying is the pie chart between the countries and our 2022 percentage contribution. So I click on insert. I'm still making use of the donut chart, and I'm moving this chart to sheet 2. And then I click OK. Same thing we did before. I would like to add my data labels. I'll click on more options to add category name. I just need to identify the countries with the highest percentage contribution, which is 92% Kenya. I'm taking the rest out. I can go ahead to decide to also identify the one with the lowest percentage contribution if I want to. Maybe I'll do that much later. I'll do that much later, but for now, we'll focus on, I no longer need this legend. I'll call this percentage contribution 2022. Okay. So I don't need no fill. I don't need no borderline. I also, for my bar charts, I'm making use of this color, but this specific person is going to be having a different color, and the font size for its category name and value would be white and 6. Generally, I don't want those white lines, so I'll reduce it significantly. And then for my title, I want it to be font white, 8, and bold. Okay. Now I can shrink this to fit it into my designated area. Move this down a bit, move this one down a bit. And I'm going to title this area Insert Text Box. I'm going to call this Percentage Contribution by Country. Or country with the highest percentage contribution, because we don't seem to know what the other countries are, but what we can see for a fact is that Kenya is the country with the highest percentage contribution. So I think this title explains it better. So I'll give this a font 8. I make it bold. I put it in the middle. I make it white. And then for the text box itself, I'm formatting the shape to have a fill, no fill, and no outline. And that's that for that. The next thing that sits here is a map. And then you wonder, how do we display a map on Excel? Well, it depends on what you want to display. I'm just going to, the map is not so perfect, but we'll just try to create something out of it. And when I tried, it took quite a long time because it needed to create a connection with Bing. Okay, so maybe I'll just make use of average in this case. Let's see average food production indices for all of this country. And I would like to insert maps, field map. It's saying you can't create, so it means you might need to extract this out of a pivot table. So I'll just Control-C this and paste it in a different environment where it is not being seen as a pivot table, but a data extracted from a pivot table. So now if I go to insert, I think my map should work now. Okay. I would like to move this chart to sheet 2. Okay. So this was the challenge I faced. It took quite a while for a connection to be granted to me for maps. But the good thing is, after the first try, to fix itself. So I would like my map to sit here. I would like my map to sit here. I will need to format my map to have no fill. Okay. Also, I would like to have my map to no border also. No fill, no border. I think this is not bad. You can leave it as is. And then I can title my chart as average food production indices by countries. And then make it white. Font size 8. Make it bold. Okay. So that should do. Okay, so that's about it. We'll just leave it at this for now. We have made very significant progress on our dashboard. But there's one more thing that I need to introduce each and every one of us to. It's something called slicers. Okay, so I would like to be using any of these pivot tables, any of these pivot charts to create a slicer. So I'll click on any of the line charts and go to insert. I'll select slicer, and then I would like to select countries. Okay, I would like to select countries and click OK. I would have loved to select food product, but it's a lot. It's a lot, about 10. Okay, but